First strike, final mistake. The skies over Earth burned. At precisely 3:17 Greenwich Mean Time, the Galactic Empire initiated Operation Cinderfall, a coordinated orbital strike against Earth. In under 10 minutes, every major satellite network was reduced to drifting slag. Within 20, targeted kinetic strikes vaporized infrastructure in Tokyo, Washington, D.C., New Delhi, and Johannesburg. Over 60 million civilians died before humanity understood what was happening. The invaders called themselves the HFY Dominion, a 10,000-year-old empire spanning hundreds of star systems. For them, Earth was just another unaligned primitive planet delaying integration. They didn't declare war. They issued a demand. In a sleek transmission, broadcast on hijacked frequencies, a cold-blooded alien stood against a backdrop of obsidian steel and golden banners. Her eyes blinked slowly as the creature spoke with mechanical translation. You are to surrender unconditionally. Your governments will be dismantled, your industries repurposed, your species cataloged and reassigned. Resistance is statistically futile. Non-compliance will result in planetary sterilization. They expected silence, maybe confusion. They got rage. In a bunker beneath Cheyenne Mountain, General Arya McKenna watched the transmission play out. Blood stained her collar from helping pull a comms officer out of the rubble. "Patch me through," she said. "But ma'am, patch me. Earthwide." Her face flickered onto every screen, every cracked phone, every surviving terminal. "This is General McKenna, Unified Earth Command. We are under attack by an alien empire. They think we'll kneel." She stared into the lens like it was the empire itself. "They have no idea who they just pissed off." She turned to her staff. "Initiate the Artemis Protocol." The Artemis Protocol wasn't a weapon. It was a nightmare, a last-resort contingency drafted decades ago by paranoid scientists and generals who knew Earth would never be alone forever. It was a plan for the impossible, a roadmap to mobilize, hack, steal, and reverse-engineer alien tech on the fly. It meant martial law, global unity, and war without limits. Across the ruins of Earth, survivors dug out loved ones, and engineers reactivated secret underground labs. Satellites once meant for climate research were reprogrammed for kinetic strikes. AIs built for optimizing traffic flow were redirected into decoding enemy signals. In the wreckage of Nairobi, a captured Thalkewire scout ship crackled back to life, its systems compromised by a Kenyan teenager and a salvaged supercomputer. By the time the Empire noticed, its encryption protocols were being copied across thousands of servers worldwide. 3 days later, Earth sent a reply. No translator, no fancy visuals, just black screen, white text. "You should have asked about our history." Then silence. And far above, where the stars once seemed so distant, the hunted began to become the hunters. Reverse the stars. Captain Zelver of the Thalkewire Dominion reviewed the latest transmission with something he hadn't felt in centuries: concern. The humans had spoken only once since the attack, an ominous message that his analysts still couldn't parse. History? What could history possibly have to do with planetary conquest? The data was worse than the silence. Since the bombardment, Earth should have collapsed. Instead, reports flooded in. Alien ships missing, downed vessels hacked, encryption keys cracked by what could only be described as brute force intellect. They were adapting. Fast. "Captain," came the voice of his tactical officer, voice clipped with unease. "We lost contact with forward outpost Helix 9 on Ganymede. Last telemetry showed unknown atmospheric entry followed by internal hull breach." "Another Thalkewire rebellion?" he asked. The officer shook his head. "No, human." Under the red dust of Ganymede, a team of Earth's elite operatives, codenamed Orion's Fangs, moved through the outpost like ghosts. Clad in scavenged Empire armor augmented by their own tech, they disabled energy fields, bypassed gene-locked doors, and planted microfusion charges along the station's reactor core. Behind them, the AI Raven four-handled systems interference, designed for emergency logistics rerouting. It now disrupted HFY surveillance networks and cloned command keys in seconds. They weren't just fighting back. They were learning. 6 days after the initial invasion, the Artemis strike fleet launched. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't polished. But worked. 10 vessels, each a Frankenstein of human steel and alien alloy, slipped into the void on stolen jump drives. Navigation was guesswork, gravity, plating barely functional, and one ship was held together by carbon fiber mesh and sheer spite. Their target, the Empire's mining colony on Delker 3, unshielded, lightly garrisoned, strategic. They came out of FTL mid-orbit and struck before the Empire even registered them as a threat. EMP payload missiles fried the command center. Boarding parties stormed the colony in EVA suits patched with duct tape. Empire soldiers expecting ceremonial conquest found themselves ambushed by troops with bullet wounds and grins. Delker 3 fell in 97 minutes. The message was clear. Earth was not retreating. Earth was reaching. Back in the HFY capital of Nalvera, panic bloomed beneath layers of pride. They were supposed to be pre-FTL, hissed Arch Admiral VRYL. Uncoordinated. Fragile. Then how? Demanded Empress Zelavan, her 4 wings flaring. Did they steal a jump drive and deploy warships in a week? No one answered, because the truth was becoming unavoidable. They had not conquered primitives. They had provoked humans. And now, those humans, brilliant, brutal, unbroken, were coming for their stars. Wrath of Earth. The sky over Varelian Rim burned like a second sun. Empire Command had dispatched 3 dreadnoughts to intercept the approaching human fleet, vessels the size of cities, each bristling with plasma lances, quantum cannons, and over 2,000 elite HFY troops. Their task was simple: crush the human raiders, reclaim Delker 3, and re-establish dominance. They never made it home. Instead, the human carrier Valkyrie, a massive converted lunar freighter, emerged from FDL with a swarm of drones in tow. Unmanned, inhuman, relentless. They weren't designed for prolonged combat. They were designed to detonate. Thousands of kamikaze drones slammed into the HFY ships in a coordinated wave of blinding, concussive fury. The dreadnought Talon's edge lost power in under a minute. Skypiercer exploded from internal pressure overload. Eminence attempted retreat, only to be finished by a precision railgun strike from Valkyrie's spinal mount, manually calibrated by a Ukrainian engineer who once fixed tractors for a living. 3 dreadnoughts, 1 carrier, 0 human casualties. The galaxy watched in horror and awe. In the following weeks, whispers turned to roars. Across the Empire's borders, suppressed species took notice. The Vizari, whose planet had been subjugated for generations, stopped mining their own oceans and began hoarding weapons. The Silinth, long believed extinct after refusing imperial integration, reappeared, broadcasting a signal in ancient code. Earth showed us the way, and on the neutral trade world of Threnix, an alien merchant smuggled out a data file. Human broadcast footage showing orbital footage of Earth's destruction and the fire in the eyes of those who survived it. The message that followed made its way into the heart of the Empire. You can't take our skies. Now we take yours. Inside the War Council chambers of Nalvera, fear rippled beneath the gold and velvet. Your Excellency, said Strategos Vela, trying not to tremble. The humans do not follow military logic. They do not retreat. They adapt and escalate with no pattern, no hesitation. And our commanders? Empress Zelavan's voice was cold and sharp. Some have defected. Others have taken their own lives after defeats. They fear retribution from their own crews. There was a pause. Then the Empress hissed, execute the commanders. All of them. No trials. No survivors. Back in Earth's orbital command station, assembled from a half-destroyed ISS and parts of the Artemis fleet, General McKenna stood before a map of red and flickering stars. They're cracking, she said. Raven 4, now integrated into fleet operations, responded in its soft synthetic tone. Morale collapse. Strategic instability. Galactic insurgency probability. Rising, McKenna gave a grim smile. Good. Let's remind them what a cornered species looks like when it learns how to strike back. From a blue world turned battleground, Earth had reached across the void, not with fear, but with fire. And the galaxy, long chained by an ancient empire, was starting to believe. The day the empire fell, the stars above Nalvera dimmed, not from shadow, but from defiance. 37 human ships exited FDL within the capital system, twice as many as the Empire's scouts had reported. Some were cobbled together from shattered hulls. Others gleamed with alien tech repurposed and improved. All bore one symbol painted across their hulls in red: Earth's broken globe, circled by flame. The HFY High Command scrambled. "This is suicide," muttered War Marshal Threx, eyes scanning orbital defense reports. "They can't breach our planetary shield." But General McKenna wasn't aiming for brute force. She was aiming for a message. Commence Operation Spark. Across the system, stolen HFY relays lit up, repeating a single broadcast in every known language, across every occupied world. "This is not just Earth's war. It's yours. You were conquered. We fought back. Now we give you the signal." The message wasn't alone. Footage streamed across the galaxy. HFY nobles cowering during the Delker assault. Entire legions abandoning post on Varelian Rim. Civilians cheering as Earth's ships distributed stolen food stores. And then came the code, ripped from deep within HFY command archives by Raven, 4 and a coalition of hackers from 6 continents. The failsafe shutdown signal for HFY planetary weapons grids. Across the Empire, worlds blinked out of obedience. On Nalvera, the sky turned to fire. Valkyrie led the charge, flanked by the Liangshi and New Boston. Railguns targeted shield arrays, not cities. EMP shells burst high in the atmosphere, disabling orbital defense rings. Boarding craft bypassed outer defenses with alien slipstream tech. They didn't come to burn the planet. They came to end the war. Empress Zelavan stood alone in her throne chamber, surrounded by silence. The guards had vanished. The throne room's golden arches echoed with distant explosions. A breach alarm sounded. She turned slowly as the doors split open, revealing a woman in combat armor scorched from plasma fire. General Arya McKenna, flanked by a towering Silenth warrior and a Vizari freedom fighter. Ew. The Empress rasped, wings drooping. "You're just humans." McKenna raised her rifle. "That was your first mistake. The war was over in 23 hours. Earth didn't take control. It didn't colonize. It didn't enslave. It liberated. Every world once, under the HFY banner, received the same message. You are free. The Empire has fallen. Rebuild as you will. Earth will help, if you ask." A galaxy once ruled by fear now stared toward a new sun, one lit not by domination, but by rebellion, unity, and resilience. From the ashes of invasion, humanity stood bloodied but unbroken. They had been underestimated, outgunned, and nearly destroyed. But they had done what no other species dared. They made the stars regret picking a fight with Earth. And the galaxy would never forget.